welcome to The Diplomat. I'm your host, Kang Sun-woo. Korea has bloomed into a modern culture with an explosion of interest by abroad. To meet these growing demands, the Korean government has established the King Sejong Institute, the language learning center all across the world. Next month in July, this institute will land in Northern Europe, Finland, one of the most successful and generous welfare states in the world, and of course, the home of Santa Claus. Today on The Diplomat, we are going to meet Finnish Ambassador to Korea, Eero Suominen, to learn more about the strong ties between the two nations and what we can achieve more in the future.
Today, after quotation marks.
Officials and business leaders from Korea and Finland got together this Thursday.
Regarding this matter, issues in Pyongyang between Seoul and Helsinki.
Hello, Ambassador Eero Suominen.
Dr. Kang, welcome to the residence of the Finnish Ambassador. I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
It's a big honor to me. Thank you very much.
So we are at your residence today, and it is so beautiful around here. So could you explain a little bit more about your residence, please?
Yes, we have first, you should start with the moomins. That
There
is
they
something
are.
that is very typical and very popular at the moment in Korea. Then there is this chair which is hanging from the ceiling. That is something that my children love. This is a beautiful residence filled with Finnish design, Finnish art, and I'm quite proud of it. And it's quite nice to invite people here because you can be sure that this is a true reflection of the Finnish society and Finnish art. So let's go to the dining room. I'll show you a little bit more of the Finnish design on that area.
All right. Yes,
Thank you.
please. Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
So this is our dining room, and again, full with Finnish design. I love the lamps. It makes a very lively, it's quite fun, and there's a different kind of forms, and I'm very happy about it, and it's also very practical.
They are beautiful.
Yeah. And then by the window, this is very interesting. It's the birds of Oiva Toikka. He's a very famous, and there's lots of different kinds of birds, and that's one of the birds, and that is another kind of a bird that he's specialized. It's his speciality. And then there is one place. It's some kind of a holy place for the Finn, and that's sauna. And
Sauna.
yes, I think that we should go there, and I want to show it because it's a very important place for the Finns.
I would love to.
Okay, let's go there.
Okay,
It's
let's
downstairs.
go. All right.
Okay. And this is the sauna.
Wow.
And this is a very cold sauna. Usually it's 80 degrees. It's very important that there is enough humidity, otherwise you don't feel well. And this is the place where you have very deep discussions about not about politics, nothing. It's about life. It is about life, and as I said, this is the place where people were born in the old days, and because there was hot water, it was the most clean place in the whole house. So you come in here, but now you come here to relax, to feel well, to have discussions. Sauna is actually.
Thank you so much for showing us your residence today. It is so beautiful.
It is a pleasure that you have visited us, and it is very nice to meet you.
Thank you. So, Northern European design is so very tremendously popular in Korea. Which aspects of Nordic design do you think have interested so many Koreans?
I think it's first of all, it's quality. And you know, for the Nordic design, what is essential is that it's very simple, it's near the nature, it's very practical. That is something that, you know, I think that many Koreans appreciate.
Right. I love all the, you know, interior design here at your residence too.
Oh, this is all Finnish here.
It's beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
So the King Sejong Institute will be established in Finland next month. And I heard that it is the first in Northern Europe. Why Finland?
It might be that we have quite close cultural relations with Korea. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think that what I feel that it is very important that Finnish people know more about Korea and more about the Korean culture and also more about the Korean way of life. And that is why Sejong Institute is very important. Also, I think that the scientific contacts between our countries, they need to be increased, and I think for the mutual benefit.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
What kind of image do Finns have about Korea?
Koreans are hardworking and they are honest. They are very ambitious, and actually the general country brand of Korea is very positive. But of course, you know Korea by the products like Samsung televisions, like Kia, like Hyundai. You know, there is lots of different kinds of already Korean products, and of course this is one of the other way to learn to know Korea, by the high quality products that you are making.
I see. So we have great brand power.
Yes.
So as ambassador, I understand that you actively introduce Finland culture and arts to Korean high school students. And also I know that you have already visited one Korean high school student. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience?
Well, actually, it's a project. Is EU Goes to School, and we are talking about first of EU, European Union. It is quite interesting to tell about the European Union because it's quite a unique concept. It's a concept of the similar kinds of nations based on similar kinds of values: democracy, market economy, freedom of press, human rights, and at the same time we are developing legislation together on the areas that is the benefit for all of the countries. But of course, at the same time, I introduce Finland as one of the member states and an active member state in the European Union.
I see. So while we are at it, shall we take a look at that wonderful interaction with the students?
Yeah, it was a great fun for me.
All right.
This is Gyeongsang High School in Mapogu, Seoul. The site for EU Goes to School. It's a program run by the embassies of EU member states in Korea in collaboration with the Seoul Education Office. Started in 2014, it's designed to promote awareness of Europe among Korean high school students through visits by ambassadors. The chosen EU country that day was Finland, known for its internationally recognized education system. With the hope of learning as much as possible, the students couldn't hide their excitement.
저희 어떤 거 질문할지 약간 토론하고 있었습니다. 일단 뭐 핀란드의 교육 제도가 궁금하기도 하고요. 아니면 그 핀란드의 약간 트레이드 마크라 해야 되나? 뭐 무민이라든지 아니면 그런 것들을 알아보고 있었습니다.
To the students' delight, Ambassador Suomi넨 finally enters the library.
저는 에ero Suominen 핀란드에서 대사입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. Relations. And of course, as ambassador,
The interactive lecture gave students the opportunity to highlight their interest in Finland. It also deepened their knowledge of the EU, its history, culture, and diplomatic affairs.
Competence or the area that where you are making.
The lecture was followed by an intimate Q&A session for the students to better understand the Nordic country.
Before you were. Yes.
After graduating high school, I wanted to travel to the Northern European countries, and could you recommend some famous tourist places in Finland?
Yes. Tampere is, it's a very industrial city, but, there's lots of culture, a lot of interesting. Then you should go to the Polo Circle, the Rovaniemi and Lapland to see the Santa. Remember, Santa lives in Finland, not anywhere else.
Full of laughter and intimacy, the entire session was a great success.
평소 제가 세계 지리 과목을 수강 중이어서 북유럽 국가 중에 하나인 핀란드에 대해서 궁금한 점이 되게 많았는데 직접 핀란드 대사님께서 오신다고 하니까 그런 궁금한 점을 해소할 수 있어서 그런 것도 되게 좋았던 것 같고.
Along with the lecture, the ambassador gave some special advice to Korean students.
Well, I always say that go and see the world. When you're young, to get to know and to see different kinds of cultures and countries and perhaps learn different languages. This gives you a much broader understanding of the life and at the same time you can be very realistic about your own country. But then at the same time see that the things are quite complicated, they are not that simple, and at the same time that people have their own culture, their own history that you have to respect. And this is something that for the young people, but you are so open when you're young. Life is exciting, and it's something that you should just follow the call.
Ambassador Suomi넨 believes communication and cooperation are quintessential features of diplomacy. With that belief, he is always open to interacting with young people, the future leaders of the world.
As we've just seen in the video, you had a chance to meet Korean high school in person. How was that experience?
I have been actually in more than 10 schools, and I'm very impressed, actually very impressed. They know already quite a lot about Finland, about EU. They are well prepared, they have very smart questions. So I think that this tells a lot about the schools and the teachers and the motivation of the students. And also that even though I know they usually have had a very long day, usually in the afternoons they have had a long day, it's a long weeks, they study very hard, but they are still, alert, they are still interested, and I think this is something that I'm very impressed.
Along with the design, Finnish education system is also garnering much attention from all around the world. What's unique about your country's education system, and what are some of its core values?
The core value is equality. As a parent, I can be always pretty sure that the standard of the schools are about the same. Of course, they are not the same, the schools. Some schools have some strengths and other schools have other strengths. But at the same time, you can be quite sure that the standard is equal. The children have the equal access to studies. It's free. So you start from the early education. Actually, the education from 3 years old, it's called early education. It's not daycare, it's early education. They are educated kindergarten teachers who know and who have the knowledge and university degree. Then you go to the schools, that they are free. Then you go to the high schools, they are free. Gymnasium, the last 3 years, that's free. vocational training, and then in the end also the universities. So this is the core value, that everybody should have the access to education, equal access. The other thing is actually that the people compete with themselves more than they compete with other children. And they are encouraged to do cooperation. That's very important because we are a small country. We don't have so much resources to compete with each other. We should cooperate with each other.
What are some of the fundamental aspects do you think must be at the core of educating the next generation?
I would think that the most important is that they are taught to be hungry for new information, not because it's useful, but because it's fun. That learning new things should be fun, should be interesting, and when you learn something, you should be willing to learn even more.
Right.
Then the training is and the education is working very well because you are hungry for the work, and it is not only that this is useful. You can learn things that are not now useful, but they can be later. Very, very useful.
Mm-hmm. Learn information and you can apply now or later or somewhere else.
Yes.
Whenever you need it. Right, right. I wonder if you ever heard the term 소확행. It's certainly a Korean word, and it means small but certain happiness. And I believe it simply refers to Korean public's desire to feel happiness in their daily lives. And I know that Finland topped the UN's World Happiness Ranking this year. What do you think attributed to that ranking?
I didn't know that term, but that's actually fits for the Finns too. Because the happiness in small things, small little things, and sometimes they're so small that you don't even know them. But I think that for the Finns in general, it's based on the welfare society, that you feel stable, you work in a stable environment, you feel secure. Whatever happens to you, you know that you are taken care of. That, you know, if there is a disaster with the health or with the money, there's always some way out. But then this is the certain kind of safety. But at the same time, I think it has to do something about that we appreciate the individuality, that you are able to proceed your life and live your life in your own way. And this is also important for us. But I think that actually, if I'm honest, with all my over 60 years life experience, little things are the things that make you happy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I mentioned it briefly in opening, but Finland is a well-known welfare state with universal care system for all children. Can you elaborate about this?
Well, I think there's two pillars that are most important. One is health, and the other is education. And I already said that, you know, the education, pre-education or the early education starts very early. And that gives the better chances for people to do better at school and to be more, have the equal opportunities. That is one of the ways that you go through the whole way. The second is actually health. And my mother was a nurse for the small children. And she said that the healthy children are healthy grown-ups. And when you're healthy grown-ups, you have a healthy old age, and you have the quality of life at that time that you know that you are taken care of, that your health is being checked. The more important, it's not only for your personal benefit, it's the benefit for the society. The society needs all the resources and they have to take care of it, that the resources are used and the resources are nurtured, so that they can be also for the profit of the society. And this is something that you have to start with the children. And this is part of our culture. It's evident, it's self-clear.
I see. The Korean public also advocates the idea of expanding welfare services, but there's also skepticism because it involves tax and spend. Based on what Finland has been through, what words of advice would you give to Korea?
don't worry about the taxes. There has been discussions about it, that there is a saying that learn to love your taxes. We don't love them, but at the same time that we are very heavily taxed in the Nordic countries, but at the same time we know that it's for the benefit of us, that it is the interest of the society, and they use the tax money for the interest of the society. They go to education, health, innovations and other things, and this is one of the ways to steer the development of the society. At the same time, you have heavy taxes, you have to take care of it, that this money, our money, is used in an effective way, reasonable way, rational way, and the way that takes the society further.
Not only great welfare, now Finland has been dubbed the Silicon Valley in Europe, thanks to its fascinating emergence as a hotbed for startups. Can you share with us some of the examples of this?
This is quite interesting because, of course, that we have known quite well because of Nokia and IT. And when Nokia changed their business from the mobile phones to the networks, they thought that that was a crush of the Nokia. It wasn't. Nokia is doing extremely well. But at the same time, there came a lot of Nokia's engineers and people who needed to do something else. And at that time, it was a difficult change in the economic structure. But at the same time, it proved to be pretty healthy, because these people, they made startups, small ones, based on certain patents, and they begin to be very innovative and find new kinds of solutions. And especially, health and IT, it's a very good combination. In Korea and in us, the people are getting old. We have the problem of the elderly people. This is one of the ways to keep people healthy. You have different kinds of solutions, which is IT and health. Also IT and education, that's one of the ways. Or in general, the digitalization, it's something that is to come, and we are ready for that.
Mm-hmm. Which areas do you think will benefit the most from partnerships between the small, medium, and venture enterprises?
It's out of question. It's IT. It's IT that we are both good at, but we can combine our forces, and that's something that we should work together.
Mm-hmm, right.
And also the IT applications, like health, like education, this kind of things. That IT is not anymore IT. It's more. And when you talk about the fifth industrial revolution, when you talk about artificial intelligence, we are both countries that put a lot of money into research and development. And that's something that we should benefit. But the benefit is when you cooperate. The benefit is not so often when you do the competition.
Mm-hmm, right.
Oh, part of the market economy is competition, but you can also work together.
I see. So what kinds of plans are currently underway by the embassy to enhance the strong ties between Finland and Korea?
Well, we have had a very intensive 2 years that we have had Finland 100 years. We have had visit by the Speaker of the Parliament, visit by the Parliamentary Education Committee. We have had several ministers visiting. Pyeongchang Olympics, we had the Prime Minister, we were having the Foreign Minister, and of course now we are wishing and hoping for a new visits by the ministers. We will see if we are getting them, but also that on a lower level, the visits by the committees and by the Finnish industry. This is very important, but at the same time, there is actually happening quite a lot of things in a very impulsive way. There is a lot of Finnish musicians and conductors visiting. They have very good contacts with the Seoul Art Center, good contacts in general with Korea. Jazz musicians and different kinds of cultural exhibitions. That's something that we are planning. But I must say that we have had such a hectic 2 years that this is a little bit slower period, but all the time something happening, and there is quite a lot of things that we do together with EU. We do together with the Scandinavian, other Nordic countries, and also that we do on our own. And we have certain plans, and especially the biggest thing now is to promote the Finnish industry, promote the Finnish companies in the small and medium, especially small and medium size, and to open the markets in Korea for the Finnish companies, Finnish industry, and that is one of the ways that is most important for us.
Right. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. This has been a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
But it's quite interesting that Korea needs people of your ladies. They need ladies in the politics. Now all the mayors that were chosen, there was no ladies, and we begin to still have the energy to go to the. I think that it starts with respect to the other culture, to other human beings, and at the same time that is a good base for the cooperation. We come from a small country. We are successful not because we are doing it on our own, because we are team players, we do cooperation with other countries, with other firms, with other companies, and together you are bigger than alone.